You spend more than $12,000 a year buying food. Not eating out, just groceries. For a family of 4, the Department of Agriculture's own numbers put it past $1,000 every single month, and that figure climbs almost every year. Here is the part nobody tells you. For most of American history, that bill did not exist. A family fed itself off its own ground, and the money it spent on food was close to nothing. Then, in a single decade, that changed. One man in Washington rewrote the rules of American farming, and when he was finished, feeding yourself no longer made any sense, and buying your food from someone else became the only option left. His name was Earl Butz. By the time he walked out of that office, the self-sufficient American farm, the thing that had fed this country for 100 years, was effectively gone. This is the story of how they took it, and exactly how you take it back on as little as a single acre. Start with what was lost, because it is bigger than most people realize. For 10,000 years, the basic unit of human survival was the same: a family, a piece of land, and the knowledge to feed itself from that land all year round. Not a garden, a system. Food that's stored through the winter, animals that turned scraps into eggs and meat, soil that fed itself without a single bag bought from a store. In America, that system had a name and a law behind it. In 1862, the Homestead Act handed ordinary families 160 acres of land, 1/4 of a square mile, and asked one thing in return: live on it and make it feed you. Millions did. By the early 1900s, a single family farm of well under that size routinely produced everything that family ate: vegetables, fruit, grain, dairy, eggs, meat, and enough left over to sell. The grocery bill, in the sense you know it today, simply was not a line in the household budget. And it worked because of design, not size. The old farm was a closed loop. The chickens ate the kitchen scraps and the bugs, and gave back eggs and manure. The manure fed the garden. The garden fed the family and the animals. A cow or a few goats turned grass nobody could eat into milk and butter. Nothing left that farm that had to be bought back. The fertility was free. The feed was free. The seed was saved from last year's crop and cost nothing. A well-run quarter section was, in the truest sense, a machine that ran on sunlight and rain and produced a full year of food for almost no money at all. And that was the thing that stood in the way. Because a family that feeds itself for free is a family that buys very little. And a country full of those families is a country where there is very little food money to be made. Which brings us to 1971 and to Earl Butz. Here is the detail that makes this story almost too perfect. Earl Butz was raised on a 160-acre family farm in Indiana, the exact Homestead quarter section. He grew up inside the very system he would later take apart. He earned a doctorate in agricultural economics, became the Dean of Agriculture at Purdue, and sat on the board of one of the largest agribusiness corporations in the country, before President Nixon named him Secretary of Agriculture in 1971. And Butz had a vision. He looked at a nation where millions of families still fed themselves off small, diversified farms, and he saw waste, inefficiency, land that should be growing 1 or 2 cash crops at industrial scale and selling them to the world. So he gave American farmers 2 pieces of advice that became infamous. The first: plant fencerow to fencerow. Tear out the hedges, the woodlots, the mixed plots, and put corn and soybeans on every square foot you own. And the second, blunter still, aimed at every small farmer who could not or would not expand. 4 words: get big or get out. Those were not just slogans. Behind them was policy. and the policy is what did the damage. Since the New Deal, the government had run a system that protected farmers and food prices both. When farmers grew too much and prices crashed, the government paid them to leave some land fallow and bought up the surplus grain to store it. In lean years, it released that grain, so prices never spiked. It was a buffer. It kept small farms alive, and it kept your food affordable by going easy on the land. Earl Butz took that buffer apart. He abolished the program that paid farmers to hold land back. He ran the grain reserves down. He told farmers the only path forward was to produce as much as humanly possible, buy bigger machines, take on debt, and outproduce the neighbor, and the government would no longer catch anyone who fell. The signal to every farmer in America was identical: grow more, get bigger, or disappear. They did get bigger, and then a great many of them disappeared. Between 1950 and 1980, more than 1.5 million American farms vanished. The diversified family operation, the place with a milk cow, a corn patch, a hog, a kitchen garden, and an orchard, was crushed under the new math. To survive now, you needed thousands of acres, hundreds of thousands of dollars in machinery, and a single crop grown at massive scale. The farmer who once fed his own family and his whole town became a man growing one commodity he could not even eat, selling it for less than it cost to grow, kept alive by a subsidy check. And the system kept eating itself. Today, just 5% of American farms produce 75% of all the food. 4 companies control 85% of the beef packing, 85% of the corn seed, and 3/4 of the soybean seed. The American farmer now keeps about 14 cents of every dollar you spend on food. The rest flows to the processors, the packers, the seed companies, and the retailers. The exact agribusiness giants whose interests Earl Butz spent 5 years in Washington serving. In 1977, a year after he left office in disgrace, Butz sat down across from a Kentucky farmer and writer named Wendell Berry to debate the future of American farming. Berry summed up the entire conflict in a single sentence. He said, "We may never meet because he is arguing from quantities, while I am arguing from values. That is the whole thing right there." Butz measured a farm by how many tons it shipped. And in fairness to him, he genuinely believed he was feeding the world by making food cheap. But the price of that cheap food was never actually low. You simply stopped paying it at the farm and started paying it at the register. $12,000 a year and climbing, along with something much harder to put a number on: the knowledge in nearly every American household of how to feed yourself without them. Here is the good news, and it is the reason this channel exists. They changed the policy. They changed the economy. What they could not do is repeal the way the old farm actually worked. The closed loop is still a closed loop. The math that let a single family feed itself off a quarter section still runs exactly the same. And the remarkable thing modern growers have proven is that you do not need anywhere near that much land. You need the layout. On a single acre, laid out the right way, a family can produce vegetables, fruit, eggs, meat, herbs, and honey in a continuous cycle every month of the year, not as a hobby, as a replacement for the grocery bill. And the principle is the exact one Butz tried to erase. You stop buying inputs, and you start stacking outputs. The chickens handle the pests and make the fertilizer. The fertilizer feeds the beds. Perennial plants come back on their own year after year. A small flock and a few fruit trees planted once will feed you for decades. The fertility is free. The feed is mostly free. And the seed, saved each season, costs you nothing. The same free versus rented arithmetic that built this country before 1971. If you want the exact blueprint for it, how to zone a small piece of ground for food all year, which animals and which plants stack together, and how to build that closed loop step by step so it eventually runs on its own, we have put the entire system into one place. It is called the Self-Sufficient Backyard Blueprint, and the link is waiting in the description below. It is the modern version of the very thing they spent 50 years trying to make you forget. So the next time you are standing at the checkout, watching that number climb past $1,000 for the month, remember this: that bill is not a law of nature. It is a choice that was made for you in 1971 by a man who grew up feeding himself and then built a country where you could not. The land has not forgotten how to feed a family. The only thing that was ever truly lost was the blueprint. And that is the one thing they can never take back, once it is in your hands. If you want more of the systems they buried, the forgotten ways people once fed, watered, heated, and powered themselves without depending on anyone, then subscribe, and we will keep digging them up one at a time. The harvest begins the moment you decide to plant it.